Hi guys, my lighting is terrible, but I'm back to just chat with you today. I got my dirty Dunkin' Donuts, and I hope you feel like you're in my house with me, just hanging out, like chatting with a friend. Because truly, that's the vibe I'm going for with these videos. Like, these long form videos are not my forte, they are not my expertise, and we're just gonna roll with it. I hope everyone had a good holiday. If you celebrate, I know some people do, I know some people choose not to. You're within your right to do either. Um, but it's Black Friday today, and you will not be catching your boy leaving this house because I do not do crowds and I'm not trying to get sick in long lines at the store. Nothing is worth it to me to leave this house today. I quite literally door dashed some essentials because I have a photo shoot tomorrow because I just refuse to leave. So today's topic is honestly just very casual. I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to talk about because I felt the inspiration strike to just sit down with you. Um, and we're gonna go through where where to start on social media. If you are going to pursue social media for a hobby or for like a career or a job or a stepping stone, whatever the case may be, if you have any interest in social media, which I feel like a lot of people do, um, then I'm just gonna like give you some tips and tricks on where to start, how to start, when to start. And the first point is very obvious, but make a profile. Okay? What platform do you want to use? I'm assuming you're gonna want to try Instagram first, just because we know that TikTok might be getting banned. I don't know how true that is or not. You're not hearing it from me first. But I personally, if I was gonna start today, I would start on Instagram or I guess YouTube, but like I don't have a following on YouTube. I'm just doing this for fun. So I would honestly start on Instagram, and the first step is to make a profile. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, figure it out because that's your first step. And I know it sounds super, excuse me, it sounds super obvious, but like before I made my vintage show pony Instagram account, I was dragging my feet. Like I knew how to do it, but I was like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Just do it. Like claim your username and just do it. This is your sign, please, to make one like now. Get out of that line at TJ Maxx and go home and make your Instagram. Okay, experiment with content. So you made your profile, you're booping and bopping, you're learning the platform if you don't know it already. Um, but you need to make content, okay? And you need to post your content. I don't want to hear you talking yourself out of posting content or thinking your content is not good enough. It all starts with experimentation. So I'm going to talk about my journey. I made my Instagram account during a really hard time in my life in 2021. It was in January, and I had just moved to this town in Connecticut where this house is that I'm residing in now. And I moved here to be close to my grandma, who I'm named after. She was like my best friend. She's a creative. She was like amazing, super kind, super sweet, and just like a humanitarian at heart. So I moved from Colorado to Connecticut to be near her. I kind of felt like this pull, like this invisible pull towards coming to this area to spend the last of her life with her, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't know her life was going to end soon. And trigger warning for like talking about death. But I moved here, and within like 3 to 4 months, she had passed away. And I literally moved to the town that she was living in. And it was really, really hard. Honestly, it was really hard. And I don't talk about this on my platforms ever because it's painful. But it was hard to come to this town and be like, I'm going to bring my grandma from her nursing home to see my house and really get to know my partner and all that stuff. And unfortunately, she passed very soon after I moved here. And it was very hard, obviously, and very sad for me. So I moved here. Unfortunately, she never got to see my house. And the end of her life was dragged out a bit. So she was sick, and I was just having a really hard time coping. And I had started a new job here in town. And I was just like, what can I do to like distract myself and so I won't have such idle hands? And I made my Instagram account under Vintage Show Pony because I had bought this house and I was like, I just want to like document the home and like the process of the home. And I think that would be fun. I always had an interest in like interior design. And at the time, I was like furnishing my house with all vintage stuff because I was broke as a joke from buying the house and starting a new job and all that stuff. I quite literally had like no money. And my grandma was in the process of transitioning, right? So, to death, if that wasn't clear. But I just started doing Instagram for fun and taking like pretty pictures, or what I thought was pretty pictures, honey. Okay, don't go back and look. But I started just taking pictures and sharing them, and then I was really into vintage, and so I started posting photos of like different rooms in my house, and people started following and asking me like, "Oh, can I buy that?" And I was like, "Huh?" And so one day, like, I posted a photo of this couch that I made my partner drive like a million miles to go get with me and rent a U-Haul. I'm that extra. Um, and this person was like, "Can I buy that?" And I was like, "Yeah." Uh, and then they like Venmoed me, and I'm like, "Get off of the couch, Mitchell. Get off of the couch because that's sold. That doesn't belong to us anymore." And he was like, "What? What are you doing?" So that's kind of, it was like by accident that I started selling vintage furniture, which was the bulk of my career on Instagram thus far. And so like my little home inspo page turned into a small business page, and I was like doing great doing it. And it became like my full career because a few months after my grandma passed, I lost my job as well. And so then I just went full force with Instagram and selling vintage, reselling vintage, refurbishing vintage, like all these things. And so that's kind of where I started. I was just experimenting with different styles, and I really landed on like the pink 80s theme. And that was like, I just went from there. And now, like current day, I've transitioned from like a resale account to just influencing and like having fun DIY content and video content, things like that. And I'm just having a grand old time. Okay. My next thing, I'm so long winded. I'm sorry, guys, but like, again, we're friends, just chatting on my couch, you know? Find your niche. Okay. So, and if I squint when I'm reading my phone, it's because I'm not wearing my glasses because of the reflection. But find your niche is, I was just alluding to this actually. So, you're going to experiment with your content. Things are going to, probably, to be honest, your content's going to flop to start. Like my content flopped. I remember thinking if my posts get 100 likes or more, then in my head, I'm like, I'm viral. Like, who is she? She's viral. She's a star. The delusion was real, but I really did start with like a low bar for myself, being like, if I get 100 likes on this post, then I'm happy with this post, and if I got under 100 likes, I would archive it. So I started off very small and was like experimenting with content, different styles, different like lenses, things like that, like just really fun. I was having fun. I was experimenting and I was posting like all the time. So that's what I was doing for like my home inspo pics, and then for my resale pics, like things that I was selling. And I really just had the best time doing it because I was like, oh, this picture didn't do well. And I was training myself, like, what does well? What is resonating with my current audience? And it was always pink. And so that's kind of where like my whole vibe was born, was because people just liked it from the start. And it was also the most authentic to me. Like, I'm a very pink sort of bitch, you know? So just experiment. You're gonna find your flow, find your vibe, all those good things. And don't be afraid to flop, because like still to this day, there's sometimes I flop and I'm like, oh well, like call me Floptunia. Um, let's see. Engage with your community. So I used to think, hold on, I need a sip of this Dunkin' real quick. And I'm not editing this video, by the way. So this is just like all gonna flow right through. Um, okay, so engage with your community. I used to have a goal. Remember when I said start low, like start with a low bar? I used to say to myself, like, I would look at other Instagram accounts who were like reselling vintage or just home accounts, and if they had like 5,000 followers, I thought they were truly like an icon. I literally, quite literally, my head thought they were famous. So I was like, you know what? If I ever get to 1,000 followers, I'm gonna do a giveaway, honey boo. And so I got to 1,000 followers. And I was like gooped, gagged, wigless, bald, honey. My wig was up in a tree. I was like, oh my gosh, I got 1,000 followers. My partner and I both celebrated it. I literally, quite literally, posted on Facebook that we hit like 1,000 followers. And that's like how excited I was for such a small milestone. But so I started with that. And how I got there was by engaging with the community that started to follow me. So when I hit 1,000 followers, up until then, I had not posted my face, my personality. It was just pictures of my home, right? And so I got on, when I hit 1,000, I got on my story. I was like, hey guys, like, it's me. um, and I started like really, really, really honing in on engaging with the community. So like in the comments, I would reply to every single comment. I would make sure to reply to all the comments. I would message people. I would just like really kiki in the comments with everyone and let people know that like, hey, I see you, I care. And sometimes you gotta just honestly act on your delusions and like think that these people are your fans. Like that's what I was doing, and I was like just having the best time, and I was being super genuine about it too, like actually having good conversations and not just like silly like surface level things. And I met a lot of really nice people doing that, and you're getting that initial buy-in, right? So like when you're building a follower base, you want to engage. You never want there to be like a difference, like that much of a difference, right? And like power, whatever, or authority. You want to be just another person, like, because that's surely what you are. Like, if we're gonna be honest, like, no one should feel superior than anyone else. And so I just think, like, be natural and be engaging and show that you will take the time to not only post comments or post your content, but also reply to comments because people need that buy in. And they want to feel like they know you. And so engage. Okay, engage with other creators as well. So show support to other creators. Do not feel like you're like an outcast because you only have 1,000 followers or 500 followers or whatever, you know. Do not be afraid to slide into DMs, slide into comments on other people's posts, hype them up, show that you are part of the community and that you're rooting other people on. Now, you want to be genuine about this too, right? So you don't want to like leave spam comments. People used to do that to me, like, oh, like, let's do like for like and all this stuff. And it's like, no, 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 honey. We want authenticity only. So find people that you actually admire and that you're actually watching and that you're fans of. Like if you have like, if there's a huge creator that you love, leave them a comment. You know, like don't be shy. And that's really how you're gonna like foster like a creative community around you as well. So you get support from both within and people who are just like followers who are not posting content actively. Um, and so yeah, just do it. Just like chat away. I want you to be a chatty Kathy with creators and with followers. Please and thank you very much. Um, Stay consistent. So consistency, I know like this is drilled into like every sort of industry, but you need to be consistent. Period. Like I don't want to hear any excuses. Like if you're complaining about engagement or not getting followers, it's because you're not being consistent. Like that's just, I'm gonna let that resonate for a second. I've had friends who try to grow social media platforms and they get really into it for like a few days or a week or a month. It's an all day thing, not all day, it's an everyday thing. It's something that you are prioritizing in your life to grow, right? And you really, really, really need to like nurture it to grow. Um, and so when I first started, for the first like 6 months of me having my Instagram account, I posted twice a day. And it was all photo content. So I posted one photo in the morning and I posted one photo in the evening. And I just bulk took photos. Like every day I would take the photos for like the morning and the night. Or on the weekends I would just like stage a bunch of different things and a bunch of different like pretty pictures and things like that, So you're going to want to be consistent in, you are never being annoying if you're posting multiple times a day on Instagram. I'm going to tell you that right now. I mean, maybe to some people you are, but to me, I'm like, whatever, like, do it. Like, everyone's chasing a goal, right? And so I'm sure I was super annoying. I was posting twice a day and I was shameless about it. And it really helped my followers, like, get to know that I'm going to be consistent and want to follow along my journey. It's really easy to like skip a day or skip a week or skip a month, and that's not something you want to fall into. You want to fall into a routine and you want it to become normal in your brain. Like, this is just another part of my day. I need to post today, and this is why, because I actually care about this, you know? And I'm looking towards the future. And so it's like, if you're gonna see it, especially if you're gonna see it as like a possible job, if you're like striving to be an influencer or content creator and monetize your platform, then you really need to see it as like top priority. And even if you have like a day job or whatever, you still need to be consistent every day of the week. Like, that just is what it is. I, to this day, will still post between like 5 to 7 reels a week on Instagram because I just know that's what works for me, and just the consistency is key. And also, you want to like stay in the flow of the algorithm and not go absent and then like come back and go absent and come back and go, you know, because then you're never going to find your flow and you're posting like timing and all that stuff, and you want people, again, it's all about the buy-in. So please be consistent if you're going to post content, and really commit to it and commit to yourself that you want to make this happen, because you can make this happen. I'm telling you this right now. I knew nothing. Oh my gosh. I have a low battery. Shoot. I don't know if that screwed it up. I had a low battery. Hold on. My DoorDash. What is DoorDash saying? Okay. Sorry, I'm not gonna edit this, so if you don't want to watch it, please skip. Okay, expect nothing. This is like a big one, is to literally expect nothing. Like I said, like, I made little goals for myself, so 1,000 followers. Hallelujah, I'm gonna get balloons and I'm gonna twerk in the street, you know? And then my next goal was 5,000 followers. And then my next goal was 10,000 followers. And I said to my partner, if I ever get 10,000 followers, I am getting a tattoo of my show pony, like, username. And I never got the tattoo. But that's like the way I would motivate myself. I would reinforce myself by like celebrating it or whatever. And so this year alone, like, I've expected nothing of what came. Like, I never thought to myself, like, I'm gonna get this opportunity or this opportunity or this opportunity. I'm never gonna hit this number, you know? Because it was just always so far out of reach, and I really limited myself, like, internally to all of these amazing things that have, like, naturally come my way. And so, if you really go into it, I would not make a profile and thinking, like, overnight, this is gonna become my new job or my new career. Absolutely not. You need to go into it with other things on in your life, other things that are like supporting you, like financially and emotionally and mentally and all those things. But if you go into it truly expecting like nothing or like very little out of it, I think it just leads to surprises that you're not really thinking will come to you one day, or that wouldn't come to you one day. Because my whole life for the past year has been absolutely 100% something out of like an imagination or a dream or a daydream, you know? So be easy on yourself. Don't put all these like huge goals up to start. You need to truly start with being absolutely like, 1,000 followers is a lot of followers. It still is to this day. You know, like, to me in my head, I'm like, 1,000 followers is a really cool milestone that you can get to. And I know that you can get to it because if you do all these things, you will get there. Oh, and also if the quality of your content is good. That should have probably been way earlier in this video, but this is like unscripted and I'm just like stream of consciousness, you know? But make sure your quality of your content is good as well, because there's been stuff I posted that was questionable, kind of like this. Kind of like this. This is filmed on my iPad. But I'm like, this is just me again, like, I'm expecting nothing out of doing this. I'm just truly doing this to connect. And so obviously if I was like doing this seriously, I would have like a better camera or whatever. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because this is like a hot mess. My last little tip for now, to get started on social media and to grow on social media, is to just be real. There's like a lot of phoniness that I see, and I'm not even like thinking of any one thing, but I do see a lot of content that is being curated to go viral or curated to start a conversation that's not always positive. Especially on platforms like TikTok, where if you're a part of like the Creator Fund program, you get paid a lot if you go super, super viral, like thousands and thousands of dollars, and it doesn't even have to be like positive or educational content. And I can't help but wonder, like, this creator's not even being real. They're just like feeding into an audience or like to a moment or to a viral pop, you know? And so I just personally find it, from my personal taste and someone who does create content and does do influencing work with brands, I always relate best to people who are just being real. And I think when you're so just yourself, it's a risk because people cannot like you and people can critique you. That happens to me like almost daily, honestly. um, but like on the other side of that coin is you find people who love you for you, and you find brands who want to book you for your personality and for who you are, and you have an audience that wants to engage with you because they know that you're being real with them, right? So I think that's the most important part. You never want to play. I mean, this is tricky because everyone has a persona. Like, everything online is amplified for the most part. So like, if I'm quirky in real life, I'm being like more quirky in my videos. You know, like I'm amplifying myself. That's just natural. But what I'm talking about is like, can you imagine little old me coming online and being like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" You know, like I wouldn't do that. But I do, like, I question some other creators that I see where I'm like, I know, or I knew this person in real life and that is not how they are online. Like, that, I've had those experiences, and it's super strange for me because I'm like, some of these big creators, like, you would never think, like, oh my gosh, you would think that they just are how they are in real life, like, the same as their videos. But they're not. Surprise, surprise. I've been doing this for a little bit now. So, like, I've met people, I've, like, engaged with the communities, I've engaged with creators, and it's so interesting. Um, and I do think that, like, just being yourself does, and I know this might sound cringe, but it does validate you a little bit more when people take to you and respond to you. Like, for me personally, I was never, like, popular, like, in real life, so to say. I was actually unpopular. So me being myself and like growing an audience on Instagram and TikTok, I'm just like, girl, maybe I am likable. Maybe I am fun. Maybe people do like me and believe in me and like want to be involved with my life and how I'm living my life, you know? So there is a lot of validation in it when you are just being yourself and being vulnerable and being fun and silly and quirky and all the good things and even the bad things. Like, everyone messes up, everyone makes mistakes, and I think there's like that this could be a whole nother conversation, but I think so many people are scared to like misspeak or make mistakes because it's like the threat of like a cancellation, but they can't really cancel you unless you stop posting, you know? So as long as you're coming from a good place and like truly just being yourself and don't have any airs about you, I think you're going to be a-okay. And I think that you're going to go far. And I know that sounds like cliche, I know it might sound like contrived or whatever, but it's just me, like, friend to friend talking to you, that you can do whatever the hell you want to do in life. And I've learned that the hard way. I've done like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I have so many different jobs in my life, and I've ended up where I needed to end up because I dove into my creativity, and it's something I've always wanted to do, you know? So that's just my little like spiel for the day. I hope this message resonates with you, or any of what I just said resonates with you at all. I'm just here It's Black Friday, like I said. I'm just here hanging out. And I hope that you find peace this holiday season. You know, I know the holiday season can be hard for some people. So might as well channel that those sort of feelings and put it to something positive, like starting an Instagram account or starting a TikTok account or a YouTube account or start a new hobby. That's what I wish for you. That's what I wish for everyone. I think the world would be a way nicer and better place if everyone was just like being themselves authentically and not feeling ashamed of it. Anyway, I'm gonna go, but I love you so much. Thank you for watching if you did. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Vintage Show Pony. Connect with me there. I would love to chat with you. Or leave me a comment. And I love you so much. I hope you have a good day.